Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Echoes of Malus. You all hear a voice. It's a voice that you recognize. It's kind, and it says, "It's about time you all wake up. The sun is out, and we could use some extra hands to help prepare for the festival." You find yourself in a small bedroom, laying on some rolled-out mattresses on the floor, all of which are too small for you.
I sit up and open my eyes and I just say, "Oh shit."
Aila sits straight up.
I look at Lee and make sure that he's okay.
Lee is awake, eyes open, just staring at the ceiling. You can see his chest.
1,000-yard.
Yeah, his chest is just like he's breathing super fast, just very shallow breaths.
Suha says, how are you all feeling? That was a terrible crash you all survived last night.
We're not dead? Huh.
No, miraculously, you are not dead. Well, I'm gonna go ahead downstairs. Come on down whenever you're ready. We've got breakfast ready.
Thank you.
All right, gang, what do we do now?
Gosh, to be honest, I'm just freaking emotionally drained. Here's what I do think we should do today is let's go downstairs and eat breakfast. Gives us all time to just kind of think for a few minutes. And then let's go chat.
Fine.
Yeah, Suha I kind of picked up that she was kind of going to be a little bit disappointed or put out if we actually, let our food get cold yesterday. So let's go eat while food's warm. And then let's go figure out what the hell that was and where we go from here.
You all follow down the stairs that Suha walked down a moment ago. You enter an elaborately decorated receiving room, which contains a small cupboard next to a chest on one side, and at the center, a short table, arranged with pillows around it for seating. Suha snaps at the 4 children who are running around creating a ruckus to go play outside, and they slam open the front door and run out, tumbling into a pile and giggling and playing. The older man, who you obviously know as Jafar, is setting some plates on the table. There's a few small plates of flaky flatbread, eggs simmered in tomato sauce, which give off a strong smell of spices, small rounded bits of cheese made from yogurt, which are marinating in oil with some purple olives, and a hearty-looking bowl of mashed beans topped with tomatoes and onions, which gives off the soft scent of lemons. Seated at the table is Lynn the mechanic. She looks up at you, expectantly but vacant. Jafar says, "Well, you all sit down and dig in, why don't you?"
Hi, Lynn.
Morning, Lynn.
Morning.
Is that me?
Yes.
That's what we knew you by on the ship before it crashed.
I see.
Lee silently sits and starts to eat.
Kato does the same.
You all sit down and begin digging into this meal. You find that, in a way, it reconstitutes you and strengthens you for the day ahead. This is a hearty meal made for people who work with their hands all day. It's meant to give you what you need to be able to face a hard day of work. You all get 5 temporary hit points.
Yummy.
As you're consuming this meal and feeling its warmth, you all begin to reminisce, probably isn't the right word. You all stew on the events that have led up to this. The rising of the city, the crashing of the earthquake, and now being killed twice in this same small, remote village. And at the end, the fight that you had just last night. You all did some things last night during that fight that you normally don't do in front of other people, don't you? Kind of revealed a bit about yourself.
Yes. I push back from the table and say thank you to Suha and Jafar, and I head outside without saying anything to anyone else.
I'm just gonna follow Aila quietly. Kato's thinking to himself, it didn't work very well when I took the lead last time, so I think I'm just gonna follow someone else's lead today.
Aila is standing outside, kind of pacing back and forth, holding her hand over her mouth, looks around at the sky, takes a deep breath, wipes tears that are trying to come, and starts pacing again. I just stop, and when I see Kato, and just stop and look at him.
I'm just sort of staring out into the distance, trying to problem solve this. And I think Kato's the kind of guy that he's starting to get frustrated by this, but he kind of takes that internally and is now kind of depending on himself. He's not really somebody who will instinctively just reach out to everybody else in the group and ask them their thoughts. Now he's trying to problem solve based on what he's seen today, whether it's real or whether we're imagining things or if this is actually happening. How do we get out of it? And after a while, I just say, Aila, what do you think is going on here? I'm honestly not sure at this point.
I'm in the same boat. I honestly don't know. I don't know if this is something where we're being charmed and this is all being placed in our minds, or if this is real and we're, just caught in this loop. One thing for sure, magic's involved. And I don't think I don't know what type of magic. Kato, I can tell the others again when they get out here, but one of the things that's really bothered me this morning, I think we're in a position where we all have to be completely honest and open because we're all stuck in this together. And I've kind of held back a little bit about some of the things that I can some of my abilities. So let me just put it this way. So I use Thaic magic. I was trained to use Thaic magic in the monastery where I was raised. And it's channeled through a cleric who gives me some very special abilities that I think that we probably at the very least need to talk about as a means for helping us prepare for, the next battle. I was really torn during the battle yesterday because I try to hide that side of myself. I was trained to be very, very surreptitious about my use of Thaic magic. And so I tried to respond physically first. And I think there's things I could have done to help protect all of you a little better and give us an advantage in the fight. And that's just really, really hard to think about this morning. I'm so thankful that whatever it was that you're all here, because I think if any one of you weren't, then I don't know how I would be able to live with myself not knowing I had tried to do at least everything I could do to help strengthen us.
What's everybody else doing right now? Are you guys out here with us, or are you just still inside eating?
I was going to see if Connor would leave.
I'm eating quietly, I just died again. I just died again.
Now, technically, you got close to dying. I died.
Yeah, Connor, you scraped by.
Yeah, by 5 seconds. 5 more seconds, I would be dead.
You were dying for sure. There's no way you weren't dying. Can I get a gauge on... Lee wants to look over at Connor and kind of see how zoned in he's right now. Is he paying attention to anything around him?
He's not. He's just paying attention to his meal and to himself.
Full 1,000-yard stare.
Okay. I think Lee is going to... he's going to wait until Suha and Jafar get up from the table. He's going to reach into his coat pocket, take out a little paper baggie, crush it in his hands, and then he's going to try to use Mage Hand to dump a powder into Lynn's drink. So you tell me what I have to roll for that.
Roll sleight of hand.
Okay. That is a 15 plus 3, 18.
18. All right. Connor, roll perception with disadvantage.
7.
Suha got a nat 20 and a 5 with disadvantage.
Thank Christ.
Thank the clerics.
Jafar got a 3. And Lynn got a 13. Nobody notices it. And Lynn eats her food and drinks her drink.
Cool. Lee gets up and follows Aila and Kato.
Kato's taking notes. He's sitting on a bench outside and sort of drawing himself a diagram of what the hell has just happened the last few quote-unquote days and trying to figure out what might be the problem here.
I think as Lee gets up, he kind of taps Connor on the shoulder to like gesture for him to come with.
Okay. He gets up. Just follows.
Listen, Connor, I'm sorry for my rash comments last time about you taking the spear.
That's okay, I guess. I don't know what to do.
I have some ideas.
Like what?
Well, let's... Do you carry any weapons, Connor?
I have my shield and my sword.
Okay, nothing long range?
Well, technically I do.
Okay. I want to talk to Kato and Aila about this, but I'm of the opinion that we should strike first.
You all hear shouting coming from indoors.
What's going on? He turns around.
You turn around and you see Suha and Jafar standing, and Lynn has fallen onto her side. Seems to be shaking.
That's new.
Yeah, I stand up and run inside.
We all run in.
What's happening to her?
You run up and turn her on her back. Blood is trickling out of her nose, and her face has turned a deep shade of purple. Veins strike across her face.
I stoically sort of I will lay her on her side, but I'm assuming she's probably gone for, and I'm just gonna look up at Lee.
I'm gonna run over and just reach down to grab her, and I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds.
Okay. Go ahead and roll.
I step back and let Aila take. I'm keeping my eyes on Lee though.
Lee's got a stone face.
11.
As the light is fading from her eyes, you lay your hands on her and flow healing magic into her, and she begins to spring back, but her body is still ravaged by whatever is happening to her. She is going to make a Constitution saving throw, and that is going to be a failure. For a moment, she looks up at you, wide-eyed, scared, just asks, "Am I dying?" And then before you can answer, she's gone.
That's different.
Well, Kato just stands there, sort of somewhat in shock, somewhat unsure of what to do in this moment. But does any darkness start appearing around the edge of his eyes?
Nothing happens. Suha and Jafar are just standing there, mouth agape.
Was she allergic to something?
I didn't ask her. Would she have known? She didn't seem to have any memories.
She didn't even seem to know her name. There's no way to tell. And Aila says it's just very matter-of-factly straight because she knows what happened.
Yeah, Kato has not looked away from Lee.
With this guilt now weighing on her, Suha falls flat against the wall and just has her brow furrowed and her hand to her eyes, pinching the bridge of her nose. I should have...
Lee walks over to Suha and puts his hand on her shoulder and says, Lynn is known in the Malus Empire as the foremost apoctec mechanic.
Her eye pops open. She's looking up at you.
It's possible there was some kind of delayed reaction of the illness you get from working on it. Carcinoplasis, I think.
Regardless, Suha, I don't think it was your fault.
I don't think this can be blamed on you.
Aila steps up and goes straight over to Suha and goes, I agree, this is not you. This is not your... We're all fine. Look at us.
Lee, give me a deception check with advantage due to the help from your friends.
19 plus 7, 26.
She looks down and buys it, although you're not sure if it's because she believes what you're saying or can't stand to live with the possibility of the truth that she might have done this. And says, well, geez, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? We gotta get her out of here. We were supposed to have the festival today.
We'll take care of it. I would understand if you wanted in some way to honor her, but she's not from your village. I think we'll take her out, we'll mark a grave, and this can be dealt with after the festival.
Terrible omen.
You know, if she knew, I think if Lynn knew had a choice, she would want to be near the ship that she had helped develop and design.
She made that ship.
She did. If you and Jafar are okay, and I don't know what the customs are in this area, but we would let us take this burden from you, and we will take her back to her ship, and we will bury her there.
Lee moves to pick Lynn up.
Kato does as well.
I'm so sorry you have had to go through this. Thank you for breakfast. We'll touch base with you and connect with you later, okay?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yes, thank you. And you all be safe out there in the desert, walking over to that ship.
I will quietly carry Lynn's body with Lee.
After I've said that to Suha, I look at you guys and you're carrying body, and I just go straight out the door and just walk dead straight to the airship. I'm not even looking back. I'm just like, I'm gonna kick somebody's ass kind of walk.
I'll follow with Lee and Lynn's body.
I guess I follow the group behind all of them, just kind of like still giving the 1,000-yard stare.
As you all step outside with Lynn's body, a warm wind sweeps across the sun-baked hamlet of Al-Khair-Yanabi. In the far distance, to the north, across the desert, a spire juts toward the sky. Nearly opposite it, still across the desert, but much closer, a pyramid towers over a small oasis. Without warning, and with its origin hidden by the dilapidated red clay houses of the village, a spout of hot water bursts high into the air, spreading mist which coats your skin and cools you down. Along this road, several houses still stand, showing obvious signs of repair, and beyond them, a deflated airship rests, careening to one side. Behind Suha and Jafar's house, you find a small wheelbarrow and place Lynn's body in it and begin to move her toward the ship. When you arrive, you see the corpses of her crew littering the desert, baking in the sun, and behind them, the airship rests.
Where are we taking her body?
Just somewhere out here, I assume.
Do you mind if we set her down for a second?
Yes, of course.
I set her down and immediately punch Lee.
That's fair.
That's a nat 20.
Damn!
And as you step back from punching him, Aila walks up to him and just boom, right in the chest.
He looks at all this and is like, what is going on?
Alright, how much damage first to Lee?
Can I, withhold the crit damage?
I would appreciate it, because I'm not very strong.
I think that represents Kato lacking emotional control in this moment, most likely.
Alright, you take 4 damage.
Cool.
Non-lethal.
Non-lethal. That bites up some of that temp HP.
And I say, what the fuck? It was worth a shot, but I don't think it's given us any answers. And don't even act like you didn't do it.
I'll be honest. I hadn't even considered the fact that Lynn, if she died, maybe the timeline would reset.
Wait. You You did this?
What do you think, Connor?
I...
We're the only variables here. We've gone through 2 days of
Oh.
nothing happening to her, and suddenly...
So, wait, so why did you do this? Because you felt like it?
Connor, how do you do this with you sitting right there?
I...
I'm not blaming you. That's the wrong thing.
Connor, there was a moment during breakfast where you thought you saw like a white hand cross the table, but you shook your head and it was gone, so you chalked it up to trauma.
You've been through a lot, bud.
Did Ruby see it? She can see the material plane through the ethereal plane.
Ruby, did you see it?
I was asleep.
Does she experience the time loop with us?
That's a great question.
Now that she's in the ethereal plane, is she in some sort of separate timeline?
That's my thought. Is she still in the ethereal plane?
She is on Connor's shoulders.
Okay, cool. Lee stands up and dusts himself off. Yes. Yeah, I did that.
Did it make you feel better?
You know, a little bit. Yeah, honestly.
Do you feel strongly?
Is it out of your system now?
Strong's maybe not the right word. Justified. Like I'm doing something appropriate with my life. Do you know what just happened to me? I died here in the middle of nowhere after doing nothing. I failed to kill Lynn the mechanic, one of the most influential persons in the Malus Empire, perhaps at the most vulnerable she would ever be. I failed to even see Norman Malus, for whom I was sent here in the first place, and I failed to even protect a sacred ritual of this village, which again is 200 miles from anything I have ever known, and probably 1,000 miles from the place I used to call home. And all I could think about was how pointless it all was. And so I think, Aila, you described this as a test. You said you thought we were being tested. I think we're being taught a lesson. And that lesson is to do what you can when you can. So yes, I do feel better. And as a matter of fact, what I wanted to talk to you all about was maybe what we're all capable of so that we can just go kill those 2 guards before they decide to kill us.
Kato leans back a little bit. His arms have been crossed since he's punched Lee. Listen, Lee, I'm a pragmatic man. I know when something is a necessary evil, and there's a reason why I didn't stab you or hit you with a hammer. I punched you. Because I'm not going to lie, I was curious what would happen if we killed Lynn too. This answers the question. That doesn't mean you're in the right for doing it without telling us first.
As though you would have let me.
I'm more mad at what you did to those people in there.
Yes.
Yeah. If there had been a better way, I would have done it, but again, it's not like you would have let me lead her out to the desert.
Alright, should we just be candid?
I would love that, yes.
Over the corpse of Lynn the mechanic?
Are you gonna try to kill us all so you kill her over and over again infinitely?
I'm not opposed to burying her, actually. I'm not one to disrespect a corpse.
Does she have anything on her?
Connor, you check.
You want to make an investigation check?
Inside Connor's head, he's thinking about, is he just gonna try to kill one of us and keeps killing her over and over again just to get the satisfaction of killing her?
Connor, you can make an insight check.
I guess I'll make an insight check. Rolled a 17 plus 2, 19.
19. I don't think I'm going to give you any of Lee's inner thoughts, but I think you do come to the realization that he definitely could if he wanted to.
Oh yeah. Guess I gotta do this. He goes to the body and tries to see what's on her.
So what are the investigation checks here?
11.
I got a 15.
2 of you pick through her pockets. On her hip, you find a small dagger made of chromatic steel. That is a +1 dagger. In the pocket of her vest, you find a small folded piece of paper. You unfold it, and you find a map of Nocturne.
Is it marked in any way?
There are notes on here doing the math to tell you how what the distances are on the map. So you can use this to, in conjunction with the Cheyanter on the ship, to know exactly where you are in the world.
I can't believe we never asked her to empty her pockets.
Well, in all honesty, we didn't talk to her at all on day 2. So day 1, we talked to her. Day 2, we didn't.
Probably for the best.
Day 3, we really didn't get a chance to talk to her for some reason.
That's fine. I'm sure we'll get another shot.
Or get the hell out of here.
What if we just leave?
That's, I would love to do that. I just don't think we have a good way to. Nadim's traders aren't leaving town until tomorrow, and even if they were going to leave today, we have to earn our goodwill with Nadim.
Kind of looks over to the pyramid, that direction. Do you think anything's in there?
He said people don't come back from that normally.
Well, he said people don't come back from going into the pyramid, but he said the oasis was quite nice.
So far, all we know is that we die, the loop restarts. It could be that the loop doesn't restart in any other context. So, we could make a deal with Trader Nadim, say we're going to go to the pyramid, win back the treasure, and pay back the debts to the village, just hold off on taking it from the village. How realistic is that, do we think?
I don't hate it. I think if we plan a little better, we take out the traders, we get that little APOC tech fireball machine, and maybe we just burn all the contracts.
Maybe that's what we go back into town and we are prepared to fight Aaliyah and Azza and Arwa. Maybe if we're a little more prepared and have a bit of an action plan, we can do that.
Yeah, Arwa, without a doubt, was able to cast some kind of magic beyond the eyes, which obviously is a problem. But did you see what she did to Suha?
The freezing her?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what was going on there, but I'm not much of a magician myself, I would say.
I don't have a setting like it.
What if we try now, with the information we have, is there any way to potentially be more diplomatic to Trader Nadim?
How much gold do we have between us? The most diplomatic would be to pay the bills, right?
12 gold.
I think I have 11, maybe 12.
Connor?
I got 10. Oh, that's not gold, that's silver. I got 18 silver.
Aila, can you give me an insight check?
Dirty 20.
It does occur to you that Kato just said that he's not a magician, but you also witnessed him double in size during the fight last night. You're also curious why Lee hasn't asked about this, but you chalk it up to the fact that he was engaged in a fight on the other side of the clearing and might not have even noticed due to dying.
Hey!
Yeah?
So, Kato? What was that size thing you did? You say you don't have any magic, but what the hell?
I didn't say I didn't have magic. I said I wasn't a magician in trade. I am, honestly, couldn't really tell you. Yeah, I'll give you the lowdown. So, it's a bit of a mystery to me. I haven't really resolved whether it's Thaic or some other origin, but I have runes that have been passed down in my family that decorate my hammer. And when I invoke those runes, it seems I can invoke certain forces of nature, let's say. I'm not reading from a spell book. It's not magic that seems to be coming from me. I don't lose energy, anything of that nature. It's just a one-time turn it on, and sometimes I can get bigger, I guess.
Whoa. Could I see your hammer?
Sure.
That's kind of personal.
That seems very personal.
I can draw you the runes?
I mean, yeah, sure, that works as well. Lee pulls out his notebook, which is, again, empty from the day prior, and hands it to you with a small quill.
Yeah, I draw the fire and or earth rune that I know, or stone rune rather, fire and stone. These don't seem to have any power individually, but when I'm in battle, it has some sort of connection to my ancestral family. But that's a side of the family I don't really explore or take much stock in. But
Can I kind of take the notebook over to Aila and just like, can we compare notes and make Arcana rolls or something?
Yeah, I think Arcana is a good way to do that.
I'll give him a help.
Oh, sure. Oh, nice. Good help. I got 19 on the first one, nat 20 on the second one. So 20 plus 4.
Good.
Nice. Lee, after analyzing this with Aila, you recognize these from your studies. You know that these are actually very close to your home region. Runes like these were found in Lapita. And while that script is not in use for their modern language, ancient Lapidans used that script.
Very cool. Interesting. I don't think he doesn't know what they are or what the significance of them is. He just knows that they're around. So I think he's like, he just kind of stores that away for later. Takes his notebook back, looks at Kato, and is like, yeah, I don't know.
I was raised with these as part of our family history, but there's no. It's just sort of a tradition. I'm not sure where it came from, or I honestly didn't pay them much mind for most of my life, but then all of a sudden I started getting, this connection to them. These are the only two that seem to have worked for me so far.
We'll take what we can get, I guess. So if we want to talk to Nadim, it doesn't sound like we have the money to pay the debt off on our own. I think Lee kind of like turns his gaze towards the field of bodies that have been out here. He's like, there might be enough finery to sell? Yeah, enough clothes or jewelry?
Hey Ruby, what do you think about this whole conversation? You listen on this?
Honestly, I'm just kind of overwhelmed because I saw you die the other day, and I thought you were gonna die last night, and I don't want to see that happen again.
Hey, that's what second chances are for. Well, I'm a man of action. What should we do? Should we put it to a vote?
Lee, as they're discussing this, you are kind of scanning the horizon. Your eyes land on the oasis set under the pyramid. And for just a moment, you could swear you see a flash of gold resting in the oasis. You blink, and it's gone.
I mean, we just need something to get us there faster, right?
Do we know of any cabos in the village?
Yeah, are there any, Jake, did we see any draft animals, any like transportation? I don't expect to see any autos here, but
Give me a nature check, and we'll call it DC 10.
pulling my sheet up really quick to make sure that I don't have any bonus to that.
It's always a good sign.
Oh, I do. I got a 7 plus 3. 10.
10. All right. So first off, you did see some cabos stabled behind Nadim's, and the quick assumption there is just they belong to the traders. Aside from that, you can infer that a village of any size is going to have a few draft animals around. They've got to be farming and hauling and stuff that you don't think that all of these elderly people and children are going to be able to muscle through on their own.
There were some cabos behind Nadim's.
He doesn't know us. Why don't we just offer to rent them?
Sure, yeah. I mean, it can't be more expensive than the silver a mile he was trying to charge us for transportation.
It's likely, you assume, that the cabos that Nadim has are booked, so to say, for the traders. They're probably not his cabos. They're probably the traders' cabos.
Ooh. So maybe Connor could, make friendly with the two traders again and see if he could borrow their cabos.
Connor, flirt, take 3.
Okay, I can do that.
I don't hate the idea. As funny as it would be to see for a second time, those women did just kill him.
Yeah, but they didn't.
And they don't know that.
Exactly.
Yeah, but Connor knows that.
Yeah.
Connor, give me a perception check.
Okay. 20.
They have all, it seems, forgotten about the fact that they came out here to bury a body.
We came out here for actual reason, right?
Are we 100% certain that she's dead?
Kato, I'm not sure what your concern is. If you're worried about burying her alive, I'll just put the last bit of sand on.
Lee, you know more than anything about whatever it was you gave her.
I know very little about it except that it was supposed to kill whoever took it, so I think we're good.
Well, I think we should just leave her with the ship. I mean, it's her baby, you know?
Let's just throw her under the edge of the ship and then just throw.
Just chuck her in there.
Jesus.
Find the, what was it you said? It was the cargo bay where that all the bent bodies got blended in? We just
The hold.
just unceremoniously put her in
Oh
there.
my god.
While they're all debating this, can I just cast Sacred Flame and just set her on fire?
Sure. You start a small pyre of holy flame.
I jumped back with my hands up and I said, okay, we're doing that. All right.
Let's go, I guess, talk to Nadim. I want to hit Connor with mage armor and then myself with mage armor. If Connor's up for that.
That's fine.
Plan ahead. Giving somebody a vigilant blessing. Kato, do you guys agree that should be Kato?
Probably.
Probably.
What's the effect?
I grant you vigilant blessing. You have advantage on initiative.
Oh, yeah, I need that. I have a -1 to initiative, so.
Yeah, you rolled a nat 1 last time, didn't you?
I think
Or
I
did you
rolled
get
a
a 2
2.
minus 1? Yeah.
Yeah. So you have advantage.
Cool.
I guess should we just go?
I'm gonna leave this one to my assistant Connor here. I don't really want to be around that creep Arwa again. She makes me a little uncomfy.
Totally fair. Can Ruby help us in any way?
She can fly around.
I'm sorry, she can what?
I thought Ruby was a snake. Serpent.
Snurp it.
Snurpin.
So, Connor, is it your turn to be completely very open and frank?
What? I thought I told you guys that.
Ruby remembers things, which may mean that if she dies, we are also reset. And honestly, well, I don't want the cleric to die anyway, but I especially don't want her to die if we've made some kind of progress. So I think keep her safe.
All right, who's talking to Trader Nadim and getting some cabas?
Lee, he did a good job yesterday until he charmed her. Everybody knows, do not look at Arwa's eyes, right?
Right. Yes, we've got that.
I'm gonna stand slightly outside, and I'll be available if anything escalates.
And are you guys grabbing the Cheyenne before you leave?
It disappears from our person when the day resets.
Yeah, you pat your pockets and you do not have it.
Okay,
with
so
you.
yeah, we'll grab it from the ship then.
We found the other day, we were trying to see if there was any usable maps in the ship, and we were told maps of the region are rare and expensive. How expensive?
Good idea.
Jake says, what number can I say that's realistic, but that won't let them shortcut through my intended block?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like expensive in D&D is really like anything above 5 gold or something for a normal person.
Yeah, I was gonna say somewhere around 10 gold.
Okay.
Like you think you
Okay.
could get between 8 and 12.
Sure.
Noted. All right. Yeah, we roll up to Nadim's.
You walk up to Nadim's. He's sitting next to Arwa on a lean-to out to the side of his home. They are sitting on a rug, and they've got some tea and some snacks that they're eating. You see the cabos are tied up on a post behind the house. He walks up and says, "Hey, what's up?"
Hi. We'd like to possibly rent your cabos.
Oh, okay. Well, they're not mine. One of them is, well, they belong to my friend here's troop, so you need to talk to her.
Okay. Lee steals himself for a second, turns to Arwa. He says, we heard from someone that the oasis was beautiful during sunset.
Yes.
We wanted to see if maybe we could borrow them just for the day.
Oh, the Cabos. Well, I think we would need them in the morning. And she looks back on them fondly. They do need their rest.
Is there... I mean, certainly we would have them back by morning. I can't guarantee that, they would get a full night's sleep, but...
Nadim interjects. Listen, does it need to be these specific Cabos? Because, like, I could probably broker something for you to borrow someone else's Cabos if you want.
Oh, that works.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, sure. Are they available? Would they be available today?
We gotta find someone, but I'm sure we can figure it out. Tell you what, let's just say 2 gold per day.
Total?
You give me 2 gold per day per cabo that you want, and we can make it work.
If that covers the brokering, then I think that's a somewhat fair price.
Yeah.
A usual cabo would go for like 75 gold pieces, I think, to buy.
Okay.
Wonderful. I like that price.
How long do you think it'll take to get them?
Yeah, I bet I could get it in an hour.
Yeah, let's spend the next hour preparing, getting some food, making sure we have the right clothes on, making sure we have lots of water.
Nadim, is there perhaps a suitable guide?
Yeah, I could probably broker that for you too for an additional 2 gold per day.
Sure.
Okay. Now, you guys will need to get all this back tomorrow. Otherwise, I'll have to add a surcharge of 1 gold per day on top of how much it already costs.
Will you take 1 gold per day? I'm wondering if you would lower your price.
Give me a persuasion check.
Can I do this as well?
You can help him.
All right, I'm gonna help.
That is, even with advantage, the dice are not wanting me to get very high. Would you say persuasion?
Yes.
That is a 10.
All right. Give me an hour. I'll get this figured out for you guys. And you'll get your 4 back tomorrow.
Wonderful.
Okay, but you gotta bring them back tomorrow morning.
Sounds good. Jake, is there like a general goods store or something here where we could just get supplies for a trip across the desert?
Nadim is your best option.
Can we go borrow from Suha?
Yeah, you can try to talk to people to see if you can borrow stuff from them.
Yeah, I think I like the option of talking to Jafar and Suha better.
We need to go check back in with them, too.
Where are you going to meet Suha and Jafar?
Say we would start going back toward their house. Starting there. That's where we last saw them. They hadn't said anything to us about going out to do anything else at that point, had they?
No. You guys walk down the street past the festival plaza. You see it through an alleyway, and people are working, but you don't see Suha and Jafar there. So you continue back to the house, and Jafar is exiting the front door as you all walk up. He says, "Oh, hey there. How are you all doing?"
Well, we've been better. I want to apologize again for...
Oh, you don't have anything to apologize for, son. You didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, we burned the corpse.
Are you actually saying that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
She wanted to be cremated.
Laid the body to rest. That's good.
Yep. Thank you.
Well, I'm off to the festival area. I gotta build the platform. He looks back at the door. I think she's gonna probably just stay home today. She's not feeling too good.
Well, that's understandable. Listen, I hate to impose especially after all you have already done for us. And we're happy to offer help in what time we can, or even pay you back. But we were wondering if you had any supplies or advice for crossing the desert. We're hoping to go to that oasis on the horizon.
Well, bring plenty of water and some food, and watch your feet. Don't go, walking through any weird-looking patches of grass or anything like that.
Do you have any head coverings for the sun?
Oh, yeah, I've got a few scarves you could borrow.
Yeah, I was wondering if there might be maybe some material goods we could borrow or perhaps buy off you for the trip. We only plan to be gone for the day.
Yeah, just go, just ask Suha and she'll get you all set up, I'm sure.
Hey, you guys, why don't you think about what you might need? I'm going to go talk to Suha and see how she's doing, and then we can talk to her about supplies. I want to check on her first.
Yeah, so Aila, you go ahead inside while they're all talking to Jafar. You see Suha. You see the floor has been cleaned where Lynn fell. The rug that is normally under the table has been taken away, and it's just now bare flooring under it, and one of the pillows is missing. She is sitting at the table with a cup of tea, and whenever you open the door, there's a startle response as you walk in, as if she was lost in another world. Oh, Aila, hi.
I wanted to check on you and tell you that we were able to properly and cleanly dispose of Lynn's body. And I'm once again so sorry that you went through that. If we weren't here, that you wouldn't have happened.
Yeah. Well, life happens, right?
It does until it doesn't. And that's exactly where we were this morning.
She returns back to just staring at the wall.
Tell me a little bit about your festival.
Well, it's for our patron cleric, Tiflamin Altine.
Tiflamin Altine. I've never heard of that one before.
It's the cleric of the spring. Some 200 years ago, I think, the village was founded by a man named Rahim, and one day the spring dried up, and his son died in the drought, and so we believe that his spirit now embodies the spring. So tonight, tonight we're going to sing for Rahim's son, and we'll gather a collection, and the money will go into the spring, and it keeps the spring from drying up again.
I've known a lot of different cultures. I've traveled the world, but typically it seems to me that they've thrown food and things like that into the spring for spirits. But you guys use gold?
Yeah, we make a collection. I don't know how it started. No one. I assume it's generally not known how these things start, right?
What happens to does the cleric take the gold, or does the gold just stay there in the bottom of the spring pool?
Yeah. It's not. It's like it's absorbed into the spring or something.
Oh, okay. Have you ever tried giving something other than gold?
Not to my knowledge.
I wonder. I'll have to think about, some of the other cultures I've encountered where they've, give offerings to clerics.
This tradition was handed down from my my grandmother to me, and that's the way she always did it. She never mentioned anything about them doing it a different way, so that's all that I know.
Well, I won't bother you about that. My friends and I are obviously trying to look for some ways to get where we need to go. And in the meantime, while we're doing that, we're not really sure, we might head out, I guess, with Nadim's traders at some point, but
That would probably be the wisest thing to do, yeah.
that seems like a good idea. But I think we're going to go visit that oasis over there that's off in the distance. So we did talk to Nadim about, possibly about going to see that today. I think we're going to rent some cabos from him and head out there, do a little touristy sightseeing while we're here.
Yeah. Yeah, I would recommend it. Tonight we're gonna have the festival, so maybe in the morning, you guys go check it out. Actually,
I think we're going to try to go today.
well, I did have, I meant to ask you earlier. We think that Nadim's got some traders in town who might be wanting to stir up a bit of trouble or something. They're acting kind of, well, I think that they're probably, don't tell Jafar I said this. I think they're probably going to try to interrupt the festival tonight and take the collection.
Oh.
So what I was going to ask is, you all seem strong. Do you think that you'd be able to stick around, and if they do try to cause any trouble, don't get in a fight. Don't start a fight. Just say something. Don't try not to let them do it, because if we don't make this collection, then the spring may dry, and it would be bad.
Oh, okay.
How about this time? Instead of collecting it, how about everyone moves forward to drop it off into the water? Does it need to be collected? Is there a reason to collect it? Or can you just okay, everyone, just come on up and donate, do your thing?
If it weren't life or death, I might feel a bit more experimental, but the rite is sacred, and I don't know which parts hold power just by looking at it. I can understand the rationale behind thinking that the gold itself is the important thing, but I don't know if I were to change the ceremony that drastically, if the spirit would still accept it. And to risk that would mean to risk letting the whole village die. So I don't think the collection is a necessarily integral part of it, but I do think that gathering and offering a song to the cleric and treating it with the respect it deserves, I do think is important.
He just shrugs, okay, this is an idea.
So are there any rules about, you said you take up a collection, so I assume it's people put things in a basket or something like that. So who pours that into the spring?
I normally do. Of course, if we're all going up individually, then we would each do that ourselves.
Are you amenable to doing something like that?
Yeah. Like I said, I think that I don't necessarily know that would mean that they can't just take the money from us anyway, but I do think that would be okay. I think that we can still do that in a way that's respectful and honors the spirit of Tiflin and Alteen.
To me, it seems like it's a more community action.
I agree. There is something nice to it, but to be honest, I think the biggest comfort to me would be if you all were there and helped to disincentivize them taking any sort of action against us.
Well, let Connor and I go talk to our companions, and get their input, because it that would definitely change our plans for the day, and I don't want to make a decision, without their input. I think I want to go ahead and prepare. Can we go ahead and get some water casks and head coverings from you? Jafar said we could get those, and then I think maybe if we're going to, we're renting cabos, that we can possibly get out to the oasis and back. I just want to talk to my friends before we decide for sure how we're gonna respond to your request for us to be there.
Yeah, I've got we've got some spare stuff that you guys can borrow. She goes over to the cabinet on the other side of the room and pulls out a few headscarves and a few canteens and some rations. She brings them all back to you and she says, so you can borrow Jafar and my headscarves for yourselves. But the other two are the children's, so they'll be a little small, but they should still work. And then I also threw in some dry food and that you can take with you for the day, so that you don't get hungry while you're out there.
Thank you very much. Okay, we're gonna go see how quick we can maybe make a trip out there and possibly see you back here tonight.
Yeah, so Suha follows you to the door and says, well, goodbye, you all, and stay safe if you go out on the road today.
Thank you, ma'am, for your hospitality.
Oh, of course, no problem. You all are always welcome here. She heads back inside. Lee, you're kind of standing at the back of the group right now, and so absorbed in thinking over the plan, what to do, what's happened today, what you did today, that you don't hear the giggles, shouts, and scrambles of a horde of young children coming down the street, and they plow into you and almost knock you over. And they start saying, skeleton face, skeleton face. Are you skeleton face today? You're gonna be skeleton face.
What the fuck are they talking about? Can I make an insight check?
Yeah, go ahead.
That sounds familiar. Yeah. I got a 2+1 for a 3.
2+1. It's almost impossible to know what children are talking about without interrogation. You get to be... Can you be skeleton face and chase us?
Oh, God. Okay, it's a game. Okay. No.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, Lee does not interact with that.
Well, so, can you ask Skeleton Face to come play with us?
Is that a person?
He's a kid like us, but he lives over in the oasis.
No. Really?
Grandma says that Skeleton Face isn't real, but we've seen him.
Tell me more.
Well, he's small and he doesn't have a nose, and he doesn't have eyes, and he's got a skeleton face, and he comes at night sometimes, and no one thinks that... Grandma doesn't believe me. Whenever I tell her about skeleton face, she says that we're just playing. Yeah, he's a kid, and he lives in the desert.
He comes here from the oasis?
Yeah, he walks over here.
He walks over here.
At night.
Only at night?
Sometimes.
Yeah, I am talking to a kid. That's fair. Okay. Tell you what, I don't know Skeleton Kid. But, can you draw him for me?
It's Skeleton Face.
Skeleton Face.
Yeah, I can draw him. And, the kid bends down, and he takes his finger and he starts drawing in the sand. It is a very disproportioned, it kind of looks like a skeleton. It's a round head with lines where the mouth should be, and weird, misshapen balloon arms and legs. You're not sure if the weirdness is due to the nature of this thing that they're talking about, if it even is real, or if it's just the fact that they're kids and kids are dumb and can't draw.
Lee slowly pulls the notebook he was trying to hand the kid back and just tucks it away in his coat. Is he scary?
Oh, he's really scary. That's why we try to run away from him. He says, come here, I just want to be your friend.
And does he ever catch you?
No, because he doesn't run very fast. I can run really fast. Do you want to race me?
I
Okay,
know.
all right. 3, 2, 1, go! And he starts running down the street away from you. And that's where we'll end our session.
Sure, man. Yeah.
Last time somebody chased a kid down the street, it didn't end well.
Yeah, I'm not interacting with these fucking kids. No way. No
Come
way. No.
on, go follow him. It's okay.
My first instinct, as soon as you said skeleton face, I was like, can these kids see some kind of mark of death on us? But no, it's
I'm thinking it's just a kid who died of dehydration or something,
Ooh,
like the ghost of the kid. But
fuck.
we'll
It
find
could
out.
totally be Raheem's son.
I was just thinking at the beginning of this episode how funny it's going to be as a listener to try and figure out which episode that they're listening to, because they're all going to start
my God.
exactly the same. It's like you wake up in a room. I thought that was funny, but that's kind of the point, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Listen to these out of order and see if you can figure it out.
Yeah, they're like, okay, who died last time? Then we know what episode
Yeah.
we're listening to.
I just know Lee is trying to get this time around in one shot so he can kill somebody and get away with
Hey.
it.
Can you blame a guy? Honestly,
Lee is planning on
And
dying.
then when one of us die again, he's gonna do it again and again and again until
Lee,
So-
what happens if this is you get to the end of the game and there's no more cycles and you killed Lynn?
I'm a winner. What do you mean?
I
It's
did
good
it.
for me either way. There's no downside.
Psychopathly.
But do you know what? But do you know it's an also thing you probably haven't realized? She made a deal. How do we not know that she is the reason we have the loops, and you killed the only thing that lets
I don't
us
know
loop?
that.
Well, then we're out of the loop.
That's true.
Yeah, and that means if we die, we die.
Yeah, now, if you die,
Don't
you die
die.
in real life.
Bye-bye podcast.
So like Lee, like realistically, I immediately into it like, okay, that's probably a spirit, and it could very well be a spirit of the oasis, or a spirit of the spring, or both.
Mhm.
Do we want to save this for the beginning of next episode?
Yeah, sure. I'm
Sure.
just wondering if I'm gonna have to make a roll for that, or if
Mhm.
that's just something he would be able to like. Oh shit.
Let's figure that out next time.
All right, next time on Dragon Ball Z.
All right, ending
All right.
recording.
End in recording. Bye.
Thanks for listening. Echoes of Malus is created and DM'd by Jake Parsley. Connor is played by Justin White. Lee is played by Anthony Mott. Aila is played by Annabeth Parsley. Kato is played by Drake D. White. Additional writing and combat design are provided by Zachary Cox. Our audio editor is Drake D. White. Our music is by Public Circuit. And our concept art is by EternalGem. Your producer is me, Leanne Jay. We'll see you next time.